Whoa, good morning. Happy Friday, everybody. This is the Midwest Most Dangerous Podcast, LOCPod, Season 17, Episode 17. Locomotive's not here, but we have the best alternative, which is Johnny Law.
I think I'm loco with some locomotives. I have locomotives. That's right.
Crazy motives.
Yeah, Kevin, your Spanish is getting impeccable.
I'm working on it, John. You have to in this multicultural society, especially here in the region.
Good morning, LOCPoddies.
Is that how it goes?
That's the name I thought of.
LOCPoddies.
Yeah. LOCPoddies.
Jill?
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you like it?
That's a graphic right there.
Yeah.
We can do that. We can do shirts.
Merch. That's merch City. Steve Kellogg should take that.
He's probably already on it.
He should already be printing.
LOCPoddies.
Yeah. You got porta potties, just random toilets, dirty toilets.
I'll have a mock-up tomorrow for that.
Yeah.
John?
Speaking of dirty toilets, John Vesmar does not feel well.
He's been very quiet.
Yeah.
I'm barely here, but I'm
Wow.
here.
Yes.
That's what I call dedication to a free job.
There's a thermometer back here.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Is there?
Yeah.
Rectal, normal, I don't know.
Is it oral or rectal?
I just said that. I don't know.
Do you know how to,
We'll find out.
Jill, will you take my temperature later?
No.
Bend over.
Absolutely not.
The best way to tell.
Kevin's got a room for that, though.
The best way to tell between an oral and a rectal thermometer is the taste.
Come on,
That's an oldie but a
Old
goodie.
joke.
Come on, yes, yeah.
John, what brings you here today, and are you busy at the jail and at court every day?
I got to jet out about 8:05. I need to be in the courthouse at 8:30. I have a double murder set on Monday. It's
So
against
you'll be heading out.
It's against elite Hammond Detective James Onahan in the Lake County Prosecutor's Office.
All right.
I'm excited
So
about it.
don't root for you.
Sounds
on
scary.
This one?
Oh, well, I mean, you know, root for justice. That's
Root for
all I
justice.
ask is
Okay.
that you root for justice.
for
Fair enough.
justice.
Good luck
Yes.
to the jury.
Yes, yeah. It's gonna be easy.
So obviously you're busy and you got a serious case going on, but we appreciate you being here.
I love coming here, especially I could talk about locomotives.
Locomotives.
Yeah.
Yes. Vez, are you going to participate today, or are you just like pissed?
I'm just trying to regulate my temperature long enough to get through the
get
next
through.
40 minutes.
He's fucking sweating, and
minutes.
it's an ice box in here.
Jill's going to take his temperature.
Where do you think you got it from? This sickness. Because by the way, let's review. You were just sick.
I was just sick. I actually, you described it perfectly. I'm sick and I'm pissed off because I was just sick 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Ugh. Back-to-back sicknesses.
And I thought that's it. That's
Right.
my sickness for
You
the
did it.
winter. I'm through it.
And
I go to 219 day.
oh, come on! Don't blame
I'm
don't blame the region
I'm
holiday.
blaming 219 day.
Yeah. If you're gonna catch something,
Yeah.
anything,
You're gonna catch
it's gonna
it.
be a 219.
Either sickness or STD. You're
STD.
getting it at
Whoa.
219.
Okay,
Whoa.
listen. A lot more people have gotten things at 219 days since they stopped putting condoms in the pinata.
Well,
True or false?
I can't.
Are you the one?
I'm not going to confirm
Do a
it or deny
survey.
that.
We need to do a survey.
Are you the one who stopped doing the condoms in the pinata?
That was a rumor.
Condoms.
That never happened.
I don't
No,
think that ever happened.
That never happened. It
Oh,
was a rumor.
There
No,
were
that-
fireworks and like scratch off.
And you scratch off lotteries and candy cigarettes.
cheap cigs, fireworks,
cigarettes.
and condoms.
So
Yeah.
someone snuck
Never.
the condoms in and just threw them as the pinata was breaking.
That would have been
Or-
John.
I don't know.
They fell out of his pocket.
yeah.
He was.
Kevin had a bunch in his pocket, and he's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot to put these in the pinata." Yeah.
Ribbed or not ribbed, I guess is the question. So
I haven't. You should. There's a part of my house where like picture the scene where there's like newspaper clippings and pictures of people in like the red pieces of rope. Like, how did I get? Who gave me this?
Right,
Okay.
right.
And I've narrowed it down.
Okay.
I'm not going to say the person's name.
Oh.
I think they're watching.
You've really narrowed it
Detective
down.
Vesmar.
Oh
Yes.
yeah. But he's
Detective.
it's a male.
Okay.
All
right.
And this is exciting.
Yeah.
He has curly short hair.
Oh.
Screech. Okay.
It has to be.
Like I'm trying to think like his name. Like how could we like Mott Siller?
Oh, he used to be in education.
Used to be in education.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a rumor going around that he has some wild, cold
Tropical
that
disease.
He was on a plane recently.
spread to
That's right.
me.
Yeah. You go to an airport, it's a cesspool.
I think that's where I got when I got sick. When I got back from Houston, I was sick.
Did you go in
Same
one of
thing.
those massage chairs at the airport?
Did not. I don't touch those. Although, you know what? I might have put my backpack down on one.
Kevin.
Oh
yes.
boy.
Now that you mentioned that.
Have you ever put a black light on one of those chairs?
No.
It's terrible.
I usually don't carry one at the airport.
You need to get one of those keychains. Yeah.
What kind of Boy Scout are you?
Yeah, I know.
I'm an Eagle Scout,
Yeah,
Jill.
well, yeah,
remember.
Okay.
Yeah. Always,
worse then.
always prepared my ass. Yeah.
Can we like pivot to the Epstein files?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think
Speaking
it's
of
on
viruses.
brand. It feels
Same
on
thing.
brand.
There's
Yeah.
no pivoting. There's no
Yeah.
pivoting necessary.
No,
All
yeah,
right.
let's flow into it.
So I was looking at the most recent, just because it's interesting to me to see what's going on next.
It's inescapable.
It is inescapable, right? And so, and I don't know if President Trump's happy or sad about that, but I think he's more sad about it being inescapable.
Yeah.
So yesterday, a couple things happened. One, like this whole like Lutnick thing to me is crazy, right? Because he's first of all,
can you explain who that is for the viewing audience?
Yeah.
Please?
So
Howard
Lutnick is the Secretary of Commerce. Am I right about that?
Cabinet member. Cabinet member.
Yeah, cabinet member, Secretary of Commerce. He also is the former head of Cantor Fitzgerald in New York City.
Yeah.
Huge investment banking firm. Really a guy that Trump trusts to do deals, and somebody that obviously they have a New York past.
Billionaire.
Yeah, billionaire, right? And one of the crazy things about Howard Lutnick,
I can't wait to. There's so many crazy things. I can't wait to hear what's going to come out of your mouth.
Is that basically, I would say, I forget how many people, 600 maybe, of his employees were killed in 9/11.
Right, a lot.
Whoa.
And Cantor Fitzgerald was on the World Trade Center. Terrible, right? Terrible story.
Yeah, sure.
And yet there's this weird like conspiracy theory like string going down where Howard Lutnick, who hadn't in 5 years taken his son to school, happened to take his son to school on 9/11.
That's just
that
the
morning.
fact. That's just like that's his story. But it's like
it's crazy, right? And he survived, obviously. And then, and Trump praises him, and I think in a sense, he has tried to help the families of Cantor Fitzgerald. There's a story going out there that like they didn't get all the money, but that was from the settlements. But whatever, that's Howard Lutnick, and now he's also Secretary of Commerce. And there's this rumor going around on whether he was on Epstein Island or not. He said he took his yacht there once with his wife and kids for lunch. That's all I know. But then this came out, John. What's this? This
yeah.
Put this
So here's what is the story with this picture? It was redacted from
removed
the
from
Epstein
the files.
Yes.
Okay, so this is him with Epstein
and two other dudes.
Checking out his
That's
ass?
him, right?
That's definitely him.
Let's see. There's his.
That's Howard, because that's that weird smile he has. He also has a nervous smile. Like
he does.
When President Trump was talking about 9/11 and what he had done in 9/11 regarding the families and stuff, and was trying to, I think, praise him, Howard's laughing. I'm like, that is it's like a weird, like, would you be nervous laughing when they're talking about like 600 of your employees that were killed in a terrorist attack?
There's a lot of nervous laughter in a courtroom sometimes at really awkward times.
Really?
Yeah,
yeah, that's true. That is true.
It's a thing.
That's a thing for witnesses.
So I feel like in this picture, like Epstein's in the forefront of the photo, Lutnick is in the back, and he looks like he put his head down and he's trying to like hide his face. You know when someone takes a picture of you
even
and
there.
you're like, damn it. You're like, oh, I'm in this picture.
And why are they taking pictures even?
I mean, this is my theory of the whole Epstein Island issue. He would bring people there, and then he'd be like, oh, why don't you get a massage? We have a spa. And then the people would hook up with him, and he'd be videotaping it, and he'd be like, give me money, do this, do that. And he had all the bad stuff that they did on video.
So that is shared by my wife. She thinks that he's a spy or something for someone to set people up. And you know what, by the way, Bill Gates pretty much said that.
Yeah.
John, did you hear that with Bill Gates? Like, he basically said that. He said, like, I went there. Yes, I had affairs with 2 Russian women, not there. But he said that that one of those affairs got to Epstein, and Epstein tried to blackmail him with it.
Well, I don't think it's spy stuff. I think Epstein's like, hey, you're investing money with me here, and they're like, no, I don't want to. And then he just would send them a video or like veiled threats. And I just think that this is how he got all that money. Just kept
really,
over the years.
You think he's not connected to any intelligence agency?
Well, I'm sure he was doing it all over the world and making connections. He has definitely connections to Russia and people overseas. So I mean,
this is weird though that this was. I mean, why remove this from the Epstein files? That's the weird thing, right? Like, why would this even be removed? It's just a photo of 4 dudes.
Can billionaires get things redacted?
Yes, apparently. Yeah.
I'm going to say apparently the answer is yes.
The answer is
Did you hear the DOJ announced they're going to investigate themselves?
Yes, I heard that.
Over redactions in the Epstein files.
Especially as it relates to Donald Trump. So.
This is, you're right, John. This is inescapable, this Epstein file stuff.
Yes.
And I think as it's going to turn out, this is going to be like Watergate level stuff.
Eventually.
Oh, yeah.
When it
Yeah,
all
I
comes
really
out.
do.
Even like the redaction, non-redaction
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm referring
Agree.
to. Yeah.
Agree. So the big thing that happened yesterday regarding Epstein was the deposition of Hillary Clinton.
Yes.
Okay. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
Hillary, the first thing that happens is that so basically, they wanted it to be, Clinton's asked for it to be public in Congress. That didn't happen. They agreed that it would be videotaped in near where they live in upstate New York. And there were some rules that were laid out. One of them was nothing goes out of this room until after. And guess what? Lauren Boebert, the dummy from Colorado, I don't know how she keeps getting elected, she decides to take a photo from inside the room and send it to Benny Johnson, I think, John?
Benny
Johnson,
a
who's
conservative podcaster, essentially.
So she sends this out in total violation. By the way, if this happened, and I heard that they stopped the deposition because it came out that this happened.
Yes.
And I would have been like, the only way I'm continuing this deposition is if you are kicked out of here.
Well, I mean, can you get held in contempt for doing that?
Maybe. What's going to happen? I guess we'll leave it up to the Republican Congress to see what they do to Lauren Boebert, who is given handies in a theater in Colorado and making out with her new boyfriend.
So tell me,
I think that was two people that care a lot about each other. But if you
Yes,
want to judge
you're right.
Kevin,
I'm not
that's
judging.
fine.
it's like her and Kid Rock or something, right?
Oh.
They are now?
Wasn't she connected
Oh,
to Kid
yes.
Rock?
Yes.
Ew.
So here, yes. The lip syncing other alternative halftime show. So
I guess my question is and I'm asking two attorneys, what? I saw this and I didn't really understand the big deal. She probably shouldn't have, but Hillary herself wanted this to be public, so it's like a picture. It's like
I think it's all about what the rules are.
Yes.
Because I think Hillary's like, fine, you're not going to make it public, then nothing gets out until I'm done. It could have been an agreement, right? Because they wanted to make it in Congress in a hearing.
Oh, I would have loved that.
Oh, me too.
We deserve that.
Yeah, and
honestly.
Clintons, they don't pull any punches, man. They're like, you know what I mean? They know how to fight.
Let's say that you were in a deposition at Smith-Sirsik, and then you're just taking a deposition. It's a fact-finding mission, and there's rules and regulations, and everybody understands the rules going into it. And they made some extra rules going into this. And if somebody would have taken a video on their phone and send it out, and it got back into Kevin Smith, Kevin, when angry as a fire-breathing dragon, especially during litigation, he would have knocked everything off the desk with one swoop of the hand. I
It's
swear
like
to
one
you.
of these,
Yes, you would have just knocked everything off the desk and you would have used some excessive language, no profanity, and you'd have cussed everybody out. You can't. You have to follow the rules. There has to be decorum when it comes to the law and when it comes to a deposition. And the Clintons are a bunch of lawyers, so I would have been irritated. These are the rules. You follow them. We all sat down and we decided these. If you're not going to do it,
we're not going forward.
Then you can go to hell.
Yep. I would have said to her Republican colleagues, she's got to leave. She violated the rules. Get her out of here. You guys can all ask me questions.
I would have peaced out. I'd be like, "You broke the rules.
I'm out.
See ya. Bye." Yeah.
But I think because Hillary wanted to actually get this story out, and this is our press conference, John. We can play part of this.
Yeah.
I thought this was really interesting about what she had to say. Not a great audio, but this is what we could find.
All right, here we go.
Yep.
And we returned to answer questions repetitively, literally over and over again. I don't know how many times I had to say I did not know Jeffrey Epstein. I never went to his island. I never went to his homes. I never went to his offices. So it's on the record numerous times. It then got, at the end, quite unusual because I started being asked about UFOs and a series of questions about Pizzagate, one of the most vile, bogus conspiracy theories that was propagated on the internet that was serving as the basis of a member's questions to me. So...
Does she look younger there, Kevin, than when you did shots with her?
She looks to me, actually, she looks pretty good. I think she looks about the same.
Okay.
So I don't think, no, I take that back. She definitely looked younger when we were doing shots, right? But I've seen other pictures of her recently that I didn't think she looked as good. She looks pretty put together here.
She has some work done. It's fine.
John, did she go on to say something about I think she said something about the Republicans?
I can only say that the best exchange that I had came at the very end, when, contrary to every other deposition they have taken, no Republican member asked any questions about Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell to anyone else they have deposed.
Yep.
And
There
in
you
fact,
go.
Wow.
So like she's kind of saying like, why don't they ask these questions about Jeffrey Epstein to other people? You know, because Bill's is today.
Yeah.
Obviously, he was on the island, so he can't say
his
the
is
same
today?
thing. Yeah, I think his is today.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. I think it's crazy that like she had to answer questions about UFOs and Pizzagate. I mean, this is the questions these people are asking her. And like I saw a tweet that Laura Boebert did, and she's like, "Yeah, we're finally going to get her. We're finally going in to give the deposition." I wonder if she asked one question.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know, we'll get the full transcript, so we'll see. Get ready for Bill's. Could you imagine Bill's deposition today
that would
when
be
he's like
fun.
laying in the hot tub and like ask him,
gosh.
"Who was here with you?
Yeah.
Who was?"
I had a bad back. That's his only good answer. Do you want to start ads and I'll go get Jason?
Well, we're gonna do the Bears real quick.
Okay, yeah.
And because then we're gonna do ads, and then we're gonna bring Jason Gore, and Jason Gore is gonna be on today with John. They're gonna talk about. Actually, I can't wait to hear about Jason talking about his cases with John. And then we're going to also have in Jesse Hirsh from Canada. And then I'm going to talk to Jason about the Jalisco cartel issue that's been going on, as well as his work against other cartels here in Northwest Indiana. So it's going to be a good show. Stay tuned for that. Jason Gore, who's running for sheriff for the this May 6th. But April something is when early voting starts.
I think it's May 5th.
May 5th. All right. Well, it's right in there. First Tuesday in May.
Yes.
So let's real quick on the Bears. Yesterday, right? Senate Bill 27, which got amended in the House, which means it has to go back to the Senate to vote on the amended bill, passed the Senate 45-4, similar to the 95-4 vote in the House.
Wow.
Amazing, right?
Unbelievable.
And also amazing, I was just catching up with some people in Indianapolis. They said usually it's 7 to 10 days for the governor to sign the bill. He signed it within an hour
Wow.
of when it was passed.
I love this Indianapolis and the region.
They're
just-
like showing
Yes.
off, like this is how government is supposed to work.
Yeah, Tom and Governor Braun just hanging out together, and all the Republicans of the state house. This is how politics is supposed to
This
work.
is how
man.
this is how government, when they know something is good for either their state or their locality or their country, get it done.
Yeah.
Right. And so I thought, Mayor Tom's statement was this: I want to congratulate Governor Braun for signing into law Senate Bill 27 that sets up the framework to bring the Chicago Bears to Hammond in Northwest Indiana. This is a historic day for our state. The Bears have witnessed over the past several months how efficient government works. That's a good dig on, I think, some other state.
Yeah.
From the State House to City Hall, Indiana continues to be ready to get to work and make Northwest Indiana and the Bears' new home.
Tom is killing it, and Tom, keep doing what you're doing, whatever you're doing, and wherever you're at. Godspeed.
Yeah, he's. I think he's showing what a local partner is.
Yeah.
And you saw like it blow up yesterday in the Illinois House. Like they couldn't even get their shit straight yesterday. You had Chicago speaking out against the mega bill, basically throwing Arlington Heights under the bus. And like if you're the Bears, you're looking at this, you're like, what?
Yeah.
What is going on?
That's like you just keep drifting on over here.
Yes, right.
Yes,
Slowly
yeah,
but surely
yeah.
coming to the Indiana state line.
Yeah.
Every time they have to be like looking at the Illinois House and saying, what is going on?
Yeah, like
Because now Chicago's trying to make an end around and get him on the lakefront.
just run to open arms. Like
Yes.
instinctively run to
Yeah,
open
that's
arms.
an abusive relationship.
Yes, it
It-
is.
right?
Get
Yeah.
out of it.
Yeah.
Get out of an
It's time to
abusive
go.
relationship.
Yeah, you need some new candy.
Here-
Indiana candy.
This is speaking of Indiana candy. Pat McAfee is down at the combine. My brother's down at the combine.
Wow.
And I assume every other NFL team's at the combine. And here is Governor Braun on the Pat McAfee show talking a little bit about what he sees as the attractiveness of Indiana versus what's going on in Illinois.
As we kind of piece together what the future could look like. So whenever, let's say Illinois, and you say if they get through legislature, there's a lot of other things that still have to happen. Are you in the position where you feel like you're nimble enough where if Illinois does put together a proposition for Chicago, you will be able to counter again? Like, is that a potential outcome in this entire thing? Like, how do you see this joust potentially going, and what are you prepared for?
So you got to put it into context. When there was no interest and all of a sudden you're very interested, and we've been able to do all of this basically in a couple months to get it from agreement generally to an accommodating bill and a strong public statement. That's the speed of light in this business.
Yeah.
And I think they've got a good feeling too we are an honest broker. We're not going to, and we wanted to make sure they were doing the same thing. So I don't know what could happen, especially when they say they're not going to put any money into it. We'll see. And I think fans have already done the calculation. You're going to have plenty of room to tailgate and do all the fun stuff in Indiana.
It's the Indiana Bears.
Yeah.
The Chicago Bears. Sorry, I do not want to piss off the Chicago Bears fans even more.
And I won't let you do that. It's going to be the Chicago Bears in
good.
Indiana.
Okay, good. It's only, 20 minutes away
From Soldier
from
Field.
Soldier
No
Field.
difference.
So it's just like, what does the business of the Bears want to do? And by the way, good for the Bears.
Yeah. Cool, right?
Yeah, awesome.
Governor Braun and Pat McAfee talking on the Pat McAfee show down at the Combine at Lucas Oil Stadium. Yeah, that was really cool, right? Yeah. And so they're talking about Hammond. They're talking about the stadium being 20 minutes from Soldier Field, which it is on a good day of traffic, right?
What'd your brother run the 40 in at the Combine?
I don't think he ran it this time around, but he was definitely there with the Chargers checking stuff out for a couple days, which is cool. So, and I didn't even get to see him, which sucks. But I was actually trying to get him on the show, but didn't work out.
You're silly for not being there and taking 2 days off, Kevin Chandler. You
can't get into the Combine. It is locked down on, and you have to have NFL credentials.
Wow. Your brother is a celebrity.
Couldn't get me in, man. Can't get me in. It's NFL credentials. I could be sitting there on the outside like everybody else.
Well, you should have called Governor Braun.
Yes, I should have. He got in. I wonder if he had NFL credentials.
There you go, Kevin.
All right, we're gonna have Jason Gore on in a minute.
Go grab
Jason. We're gonna do ads, and we'll be right back with John Cantrell and Jason Gore. Power in Indiana, Lake County Studios. Power in Indiana. I never read this one. So
right.
Power in Indiana, Lake County is your source for the region's most trusted electricians. At Power in Indiana, Lake County, we set the standard for excellence in electrical work. As IBEW Local 697 electrical contractors, we ensure safety, reliability, and quality for Northwest Indiana corporations, businesses, and homes alike. But our mission goes beyond the job site. We're creating a brighter future for the region we proudly serve. Power in Indiana, Lake County, bringing excellence to the job, creating a brighter future for our community. Find the right electrical contractor at poweringindiana.org.
Byway Brewing is a family-friendly microbrewery with a spacious tap room and outdoor patio, serving its award-winning craft beer, a chef-driven food menu, and craft cocktails on draft. Their brewing equipment and production facility offer a unique backdrop for events like bridal showers, reunions, or corporate parties. With their amazing food truck, they can cater to your corporate and private events off-site, just off 8094 at the Kennedy Avenue South exit. Let them show you that customer service is their top priority. Check out more at bywaybrewing.beer.
Misprint Printing. Elevate your brand with Misprint Printing, the premier printing and sign solutions in Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana, which essentially are all combined together in these days. With a 40-year legacy of excellence, their experienced team by Rick Baldensberger combines innovation and technology to deliver top-quality signs and printing, always on time and within budget. Conveniently located in Munster and Hammond, Misprint is your partner for creating impactful visual solutions that leave a lasting impression. Visit them at misprintusa.com to bring your vision to life today. They just did our sign at our office.
Nice. And I was just in there yesterday for a meeting where they were going to do stuff for a trade show booth.
Wow.
So really, they do everything. Go check them out. Jill.
It says stop.
Oh, Tortillas Nuevo Leon.
It says stop. Are we doing all of them?
No, Tortillas Nuevo Leon. You're missing Tortillas
I
Nuevo
can't read.
Leon. You
Sorry.
can't read. Thank you.
I can't read.
See how Jill tried to kind of put us down?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well,
I'm going to read
I'm
Tortillas
like a
Nuevo
fucking
Leon
Kevin.
now. Tortillas Nuevo Leon is the gold standard in Mexican cuisine across the Midwest. Look for Tortillas Nuevo Leon's popular red and white label at your local grocery store and enjoy quality Mexican products made with local expertise.
Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón. Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón.
Thanks to our sponsors, including our studio sponsor, Power in Indiana, Lake County. We are once again really honored and excited to have Jason Gore, candidate for Lake County Sheriff, in the studio. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Lake County. How are we doing today?
There he is.
You know, Jason used to be like supreme opposition for me.
Yeah.
You know? And then he
And look at you guys right now sitting right
Look
next to
at
each
this.
other.
Yeah. You know,
he could take you. I'm just watching.
oh,
What do you
listen,
mean, like in a fist fight?
I mean, yeah.
Well, I've seen.
I think so.
I've seen Jason on body cam kick in police officers' doors and question them and stick his nose on their
Police
faces.
officers' doors?
Yes, Jason doesn't take any shit.
Whoa.
Yeah, he's truthfully a badass of a law enforcement officer.
That's a good intro, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's a great intro. I'll take it. Please record.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's
Clip that, John.
Yeah, he holds everybody's feet to the fire, and I always think in litigation, I want to fight, and then when we leave, we should all be able to go to Applebee's together.
Applebee's.
Yes,
That's the choice.
No, it's just it's a figure of speech. I say, if you fight people and then when you walk out of the lines, Kevin, if we're playing basketball and you're going up for the last second shot, I'm going to foul you and put you right on your ass and then buy you a drink afterwards.
That would be okay.
But Jason, he really put all the bullies in jail that I grew up with, and that's when I really started to like him. I grew up on the north side of East Chicago. That's Latin King territory, and Jason put the people who kept shooting at everybody in our neighborhood in jail.
Did you guys ever have? First of all, wait, before we go there, I want to ask a question. How you doing?
I am doing well.
Because I don't want to start with you're going to beat John up and you knock police doors down.
Right.
Let me say one thing real quick. Everybody, please join me in welcoming, in saying happy birthday to my daughter, Claire. She's
Yes.
11
Happy
on Wednesday.
birthday, Claire.
She's waiting for the bus, and I just wanted to get that out. I promised
way to
her I
go.
would
See?
say that.
We need to make sure that
Happy
Yes.
birthday, Claire.
Yes.
Claire's how old?
11.
Whoa.
Yeah.
All right.
Happy
You got it right for
birthday.
your dad. That's awesome.
She goes to a lot of campaign events. Yeah, she's a
She
trooper
does.
and a good campaigner.
She does.
Yeah.
I also like Maverick. But my favorite campaigner is Maverick, your golden retriever. Just because, I'm partial. I've got one at home. So,
So Jason has done a ton of work in Lake County. He was the architect and the lead agent for the ATF on all of the RICO indictments that you've followed over the years in Lake County. I mean, in Hammond and in East Chicago and Gary, he's solved so many murders.
well, let's go back and just talk about ATF and what they are and what they do. Because, these acronyms get thrown around so much, right? FBI, CIA, ATF, ICE, whatever, right? So tell us about ATF.
So ATF stands for the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. In short, we do violent crime. It is our mission to investigate those who are prohibited from carrying firearms, using firearms illegally, and trafficking firearms. Whether you do it as an individual or if you do it organizationally.
Does that count for gun running?
Yes. Yeah, that's firearms trafficking aspect of it.
That's the firearms trafficking. All right, got it. So gun running, illegal dealers,
Yep.
as well as just felons with firearms, right?
Correct. That's prohibited persons.
Okay.
So the north side of East Chicago, where I grew up, they had a sea of violence because the Latin Kings were fighting the Imperial gangsters, and it was truthfully too much for ECPD to handle because it was just overflowing violence. Every day there were shootings. Finally, Jason indicted the Imperial gangsters with Dave Nozick and a bunch of federal U.S. attorney prosecutors, and they
Put him in jail for a long time, prison for a long time.
Well, try to give people the death penalty. A guy who killed a guy on the front lawn of my old house that I grew up in, they tried to give him the death penalty. He ended up getting life in prison. But that's how you
Clean up
solve
a
crime.
community.
Yeah, you have to take somebody who's amazing in law enforcement and to tackle big problems. And that's why I'm excited that Jason's going to run for sheriff, because in thinking about the future of Lake County, if Lake County's not safe, no one's going to live here anymore.
Well, and I think your federal background, right? It's ATF. That's what really is attractive to me about when I look at resumes, right? Mm-hmm. It's okay, this guy has done it at the highest level in the sense of putting the worst of the worst away, right? You've done those investigations. You're familiar with how they work. You're familiar from the ground up, from on the ground to conviction.
Yes.
All the way through, right?
Yes.
Jason, can you list all the RICO cases? RICO is racketeering, influence, corrupt organizations, and that's when you put gang members in jail.
Well, originally, RICO was for the mob.
Correct.
Right? But
Yep.
it obviously has been used a lot of different ways.
Sure. So, it is, if you think about RICO, it is just a big grand conspiracy, right? And it's organizationally based, and you have to show the bad acts of the organization and of the members, and then show how they got benefit within the organization for it. So in other words, if it's the three of us, you're dealing dope for us, it increases your standing, we make money off of it. We're all criminally active in that conspiracy.
And can you have a 3-person RICO?
You sure can.
There you go. Wow, we can be a RICO, John.
Well, don't sell drugs. If
No.
I wanna be in a
Yeah,
group
in
with
any
them-
conspiracy, it's just two or
Two
more
more-
people.
yep, two
more people.
You know, and it is kind of like what they did to Al Capone. They really couldn't prove some of the things, but they put him in jail for others. Sometimes he can't necessarily prove some of the murders, and then he just puts people in prison for 30 years for drug dealing. You know?
Well, and also, I assume also with RICO and a lot of like conspiracy prosecutions, sometimes you can get the lower guys to roll.
Yep.
And on the bigger guys, and it just kind of goes up the chain, right?
That is it. So, you know, if you think about the RICO cases, there are people within the strata of the gang. So you've got the people at the top. You know, these people are generally the most criminally active. They've done the most work for the gang, and it kind of goes down from there. And they're all young men. Now, keep in mind, like, you know, all of our defendants, especially in the first one, which was the Imperial Gangsters, these guys were out killing people at 18, 19, 20 years old.
Hardened.
Yeah,
By age
they
20,
are.
they're hardened. Yeah.
They're so young, but you know, you get the benefit of finding that storyteller, that person that is going to flip on the gang and gives you everything, gives you the rules, gives you how they run business, the structure. They give you everything, and then they also give you bad acts, and then you just got to start working and investigating and going into those neighborhoods and gathering the evidence.
I mean, because if you look at John, I mean, we all grew up. Everybody here in this room grew up in the region, and there was a time, I would say, in the late 90s and early 2000s where gang violence was a significant issue in the north part of this county. And I would say now, I'm not saying it's gone, but the difference between when probably guys like Jason took this stuff on and now is significantly different, I think.
Well, stuff overflows, and then the cavalry comes in. I picture Jason on a horse sometimes.
Wow.
Yes.
I love that.
We need that. We need that picture on the website.
A very large steed, for sure.
And there's our title.
Yes.
Very large steed.
Well, listen, I mean, first of all, you can't do these investigations without the help of a lot of people. I had the opportunity to work with all of the police agencies, federal law enforcement, the U.S. Attorney's Office, by and far. Dave Nozick was our AUSA. He's an outstanding AUSA, and he had the guts to charge a lot of this stuff, which gave us an advantage. I'm very proud of that. There's something to be said of when you target the most violent people in a community, the violent crime has to go down.
Yeah.
And it does, and it did. And, all of these RICOs, so we did, just to answer your question earlier, we did the Imperial Gangsters, 2-6, Latin Kings, Latin Counts, Latin Dragons. Now, those were the 5 that I was a case agent for. And then I supervised the Sin City Disciples, which was a motorcycle club.
gang, right?
Yeah, out of Gary. And all of those, Dave Nozick was the AUSA, and we know how to run what we call the playbook. We know how to work these organizations.
And we're talking about dozens and dozens of convictions, right?
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, so in the IG case, what did we do? 23 Latin Kings. I think we did 52. We solved 9 murders in the Latin King case.
Wow.
I think we 16 in IG, 6 and 2-6.
Those are murders.
Yeah,
Yeah,
those
just
murders.
murders,
Unsolved-
right?
unsolved
murders
murders.
that now became solved.
Unsolved murders.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
just that alone.
That's why the thought of Jason being the sheriff is really enticing to me, because you have police technology, which is really important, using digital evidence, drones, and forensics, and tying it all together and getting people to work together. That's what I've seen him do. And, you talk about the future of crime. Crime is evolving. We need somebody who's really good at this game. And Jason's resume, I've seen what he can do. And, it's important to me. I own property in Lake County. My kids are being raised in Lake County. The future of Lake County is important. So anybody who's out there who's listening or watching, go to his website. Vesmar, can you put that in chat?
Done.
And it's
Already
at
there.
Glue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
see,
it's been there,
don't-
John. It's been there
donate
for
money.
minutes, John.
Yeah,
Yes.
send over your sign locations. They're the good, the bad, and the ugly. We'll take all of them, because I think everybody who's listening loves Lake County, and you want Lake County to be
Yeah,
safer.
safe Lake County.
And it's good for your property values, and just getting people to come over here like the Bears.
We're just like I said, there was a time, honestly, where you lived in a community and you were concerned that it was becoming a violent community.
Sure.
And I think that has totally lessened as a result, obviously, of the work that Jason and his team and the federal government and their local partners did during that time.
I have to dip out, and this is a case that I was on. But Jason, why don't you talk about how the house that used to live right by got shot up 98 times, and you had to put the bad guys in jail for the Latin counts. But I got to roll.
John's going to get up right when you're going to talk about how you beat him in court. So.
See you, JC.
I'll see you, Johnny Law. Johnny Law, there goes. In the jail, or at the jail and in court every day. Off he goes. On his horse. All right, so Jason, go ahead if you want to tell us.
Sure. So, it was the case that I'm talking about. It involved the RICO investigation against the Latin counts. And oddly, so I grew up at 614 Conkey Street in Hammond.
Not far from where I grew up, like
and
3 blocks.
Yeah, and then when I turned 17, my mom bought a house on the 6200 block of Jackson, which is literally
Not
just
too
around
far.
the corner.
Yeah,
right around
there.
the corner. Mm-hmm. My whole life, those are all my friends. That was my base in Hammond. I know all the families on that street, and oddly, I become a police officer in 98, move out, and then I become a federal agent, and the Latin counts set up the 6200 block of Jackson Street in Hammond as their base.
Wow.
And
place you knew.
Yeah. I mean, I know all the people.
And the houses.
I could go down and point at everybody that lived there. And, here I am, this big bad federal agent, and the block that I grew up on and the people that were in my life are living in this, they're just shooting up the block all the time, right?
Yep.
It was time. So, we went in there. And,
so kind of a personal part of this too, right?
Yeah.
Personal to you.
And now we had, when I say we, our investigative team had always kind of suspected that the counts had something to do with the murder of Lauren Cavillo. We worked that. I mean, well, first of all, Hammond PD worked the case. As we did all of our RICOs, we questioned everybody about this. Like that was a golden ticket, right? And everything that that we had seen was kind of pointing towards that. Now, that murder, Lauren's murder, occurred. It's called Jacob Square, but it was
Beale Street.
Yeah, on Beale Street, but it was known as Little Waco. My wife lived in that neighborhood as a child, so you had, for me, it was where I grew up and where my wife grew up, and being able to work that is extremely personal. And we were able to get in there and get that investigation done. Guys did some really good work. That one we did some undercover work, some proactive stuff. We did historical work and was able to get it wrapped up, indict, confessions, a trial, held everybody accountable for those 2 murders.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. And I just, again, like, because you and me and John and Jill, like, we grew up in that community. We lived in that community. We still live in that community, or the 3 of us do. And I think that's the interesting thing is, like, the 6200 block of Jackson isn't violent.
No.
Well, Jacob Square is not called Little Waco anymore.
No.
It's not violent.
No.
And I think a lot of that goes towards, like you said, the Hammond Police Department have done crazy good work over there.
Yes, they have.
And with their federal partners, I mean, just shows that when you have a team in place that can take care of this kind of person, these bad people, it gives results and violence goes down. And I think that's one of the things that you bring to the table as a candidate for Lake County Sheriff is those relationships.
Yes.
Like you walk in day one, and I know you can get the federal folks that are needed like that.
Yes.
Right? And that's got to be an advantage to any community in Lake County.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just, the access to it, who to call, what to talk about, how are we going to get this done, funding. This is just coming from, the federal, whether it be ATF, FBI, DEA. I have contacts within all of those organizations.
Awesome.
And I mean, I've been gone for less than, I've been retired for less than a year. And
retired because you wanted to run for sheriff.
Yes. So in the federal government, you cannot, it's called the Hatch Act, we cannot do political work. So I had to retire. So once I decided that I wanted to endeavor into the sheriff's race, I had to retire, and I did.
Wow. That says something right there.
Yeah.
I mean, like you're giving up your federal law enforcement.
Yeah, this is not a retirement gig for me. No, I retired to run for this.
Wow.
And I don't have a plan B. So in other words, I haven't. I don't.
You might be here.
Yeah, all right. There it is.
That'd
There
be
it
a
is.
sad plan B.
Yeah,
if you end
I-
up here every Tuesday and Friday.
I don't know.
For free.
Sick or not.
All right, we're going to
Gotta
take a
show
break.
up.
We're going to read some ads. Jason's going to hop over into Tom's seat, and we're going to do. If you're over in Tom's seat, you got to be co-hosting with me. So we're going to have Jesse Hirsh, our Canadian correspondent, for a little bit, and then you and I are going to talk through like what's happening in Mexico right now, and just like in your knowledge and experience of how these things go. Because I can't wait to hear about like. What you know about the Jalisco cartel or how these cartels work and how it ends up getting from like, near Puerto Vallarta, Mexico to getting fentanyl up in Lake County.
Sure.
So we're going to talk about that. So hop over. We're going to do some ads. Jill, lead us off on our ads.
You sure? You sure you want me to do
Yes,
this?
I'm sure. As long as you do it correctly.
I probably won't.
Tortillas Nuevo Leon.
Let's do it twice. The branding room floor. Hiring a full-time marketing manager is costly, but what if you didn't have to? At the branding room floor, we are your marketing department, providing marketing strategy, creative design, web development, full brand management, and more, all for less than the cost of a single employee. We're the region's award-winning full-service marketing agency, partnering with businesses and organizations that want complete marketing department results without the overhead. Stop doing it yourself or delegating to unqualified employees. Get the support, expertise, and partnership of a full marketing team with the Branding Room Floor. Visit thebrandingroomfloor.com to get started today.
Cantrell and Cantrell, attorneys at law. Are you injured or in trouble with the law? Give Cantrell and Cantrell a call and schedule your consultation with someone who's in court and at the jail every day. Call John Cantrell at 219-554-4LAW or visit their website at bettercallcantrell.com. John and his wife, Kristen, make a great team and are waiting to hear from you.
Did you make it a dry January? Now what? How about continuing it into a free from alcohol February with a cold alcohol-free beer? Michelob Ultra Zero is a superior alcohol-free beer that has 29 calories, 6.5 carbs, and a new lime-flavored option. For those that love craft brews, try the new Golden Road Mango Cart NA or Elysian Easy Dust IPA. Don't forget about Stella Artois 0.0, which is brewed to give the import drinker a perfectly balanced alcohol-free beer. With so many great non-alcoholic beer options, keep your dry January rolling into February. Has never been easier for those that love beer, enjoy beers, and cheers responsibly.
Wow, that was
so freaking long.
MCR Partners
So long.
is your one-stop destination for top-notch expertise in economic development, finance, and planning with a dedicated team geared up to tackle your projects head-on. They're your go-to comprehensive solution providers. Dive into the world of economic development with MCR Partners and let them guide you through the maze of opportunities. Stay in the loop and connected by hitting up their website at mcrpartnersllc.com, or for tailored assistance, don't hesitate to reach out to LOCPod's friend Matt Reardon at 219-741-9511.
For decades, the Ron J. Prestomer Insurance Agency has been located right on Indianapolis Boulevard, serving all your insurance needs. The Prestomer Agency specializes in a wide range of insurance products and services, including auto, home, business, life, and much more. The Prestomer Agency serves thousands of people and businesses throughout Chicagoland and the Midwest. Call Ron or Ronnie today at 219-844-0103. They're here to protect what matters most to you. Hablamos Español.
All right, thanks to our sponsors, including our studio sponsor, Power and India Lake County. We're back for the third segment. I've got Jason Gore with me, candidate for Lake County Sheriff, as well as our Canadian correspondent, who's still probably reeling from the big hockey match a couple weeks ago in Milan, or maybe a week and a half ago in Milan. So much so that he's wearing his Toronto Blue Jays hat, not his Maple Leaf hat. So, Jesse, welcome back to the show. Last show, Mayor Tom said we got to get Jesse back on with all this Canadian news. So, welcome back to LOCPod.
Always a pleasure to be here.
Is everyone still crying in their soup, or what's going on up there?
Well, yes and no. I mean, yes, it was a traumatic moment for the country, and the rubbing in since then is salt on a sore wound. But we're making up stories as to why it doesn't matter. These were NHL players. You know, they don't play together. That was a pickup game, not a real hockey game. And so whatever we have to do to rationalize that our pride is still intact.
Well, I mean, I think, in 2010 in Vancouver, the golden goal was your all in beating us. So this is almost like a little bit of turnaround is fair play. But it was a great game. Great. I think anybody that watched it realizes what an awesome hockey match that was. You couldn't have found two greater teams, I don't think, in the world, put them together. I think I heard somebody even say on the commentary that this is better than any Stanley Cup matchup you're ever going to get, because this is like basically two NHL All-Star teams.
Well, and that's where, if you look at how soccer is governed as a sport, a lot of people, certainly Canadians, feel the NHL has too much control on the game, and that if we had a more federated game like soccer is, Canada would dominate. Versus with the NHL, we haven't won a Stanley Cup in years.
Think about that.
So it just adds insult to injury.
Yes. So I'm glad you guys are all getting over it, slowly but surely, right? And of course, seeing the gold medals at the State of the Union and all the players coming on into the Capitol, it's just salt in an open wound.
Well, and this is where, obviously we don't assume you guys pay attention to us whatsoever, right? We're the stepchild hanging out up in the north. But Trump remains a front of mind subject for Canada as a whole. Our relationship with the United States is, as far as we're concerned, completely different. And where you guys are kind of going along on your merry way, you got your own problems to deal with, we are looking to the world and saying we need a new date to the prom. We need some new friends. Our trusted partner of all these years is no longer worthy of our trust. And even though economically we are still thoroughly integrated, again, we don't trust you guys anymore.
Well,
and even though I know you guys are saying, well, there'll be a new administration in and things will turn around, you got a lot of work to do if that's going to happen, because again, we're hurt. We're really hurt, and we're afraid, and we're thinking of alternatives.
You're the scorned, longtime girlfriend.
Yes.
Well, and I think Prime Minister Carney, his and you called it, by the way, right on LOCPod, that he was going to be the next prime minister. He's he gave that speech in Europe, which was really, I think, well received, about like the kind of the middle power speech, and then he kind of put his words to action by recently doing a really interesting deal with China and going to China. I mean, which would have been unheard of, right? Without like U.S. permission in the past. I don't want to say U.S. permission, but it just wouldn't be thought of as Canada's going to go to Beijing and make a deal, right? And they did it. And what's the news? I mean, what's the feeling up there about that?
I agree with you. It's very disrespectful to the United States, our long-term trading partner. I think that was exactly why he did it, to sort of say, hey, we can play the game too. And it's worth pointing out that it wasn't just him. Like our premiers, which is the equivalent of our governors, a bunch of them went with them as well. This was a really monumental trade deal, not so much in terms of the substance, but the precedent and the channels of communication that it opens up. If I was the United States, I'd be going, we don't want Chinese EVs being assembled in Canada and then getting a back door. So this is why right now the CUSMA, the what became NAFTA, the current trade agreement between the United States, Canada, and Mexico, is a very contentious negotiation. I don't think it's going to happen. I think Trump is going to cancel it. I think, the trade agreements that currently exist are going to be abandoned. And that not only puts the Canadian economy in peril, it's why we have to turn to China. It's why we're talking to Europe. It's why we're talking to countries like we're doing what Trump wants America to do, which is strike deals with all these countries in the world that benefit us, because we have no choice. Like we, our auto industry alone, he's literally saying no more cars built in Canada. That would devastate our economy. So yes, that's why that trade deal with China happened. That's why it's going to continue to happen. And I think you guys don't see any of this coming. I think this is all below the radar. Understandably, you got your own things to focus on. Go Bears. But at the same time, this is a seismic shift in the relationship between our respective countries.
John, you got anything for...
Wasn't there something recently where Trump also shut down construction of like a bridge that is crossing from U.S. to Canada? He tried.
He made a big commotion about it until he realized he has no power to do so. Canada paid for the bridge. Michigan loves the bridge. The bridge is going forward regardless of what he says. But it's the fact that he can say anything, move markets, and the reality doesn't matter. And here in Canada, that does matter. And I would point out that our military is also now undergoing a complete transformation. Not only because we have always been lock in step with the U.S. military, and that is no longer viable. It looks like we're not going to buy the F-35 jets. We're going to buy jets from Sweden. But we're also changing our reserves, changing, our volunteer militia. What used to be distributed, like the National Guard, is now being fully nationalized across the country. So we have a unified militia. Again, a lot of this is posturing and feel good stuff so that people think we're doing like politics. But Canadians take this stuff seriously, if only because we are afraid. Because all you guys have to do is fart, and we're in trouble.
Well, I think I love having Jesse on to get this perspective. I mean, it's really good for Americans, I think, to hear this. And I think it's really interesting that Canada has taken a more more, I don't want to say aggressive, but just like more influential posture worldwide and actually just in the hemisphere. So we're going to continue to watch, right, Jesse? We're going to continue to have you back on.
And let me repeat something I've said on a past episode. There's a real opportunity for a politician like Mayor Tom, to, especially given the attention you guys are getting because of the Bears stuff, to kind of rally some of the northern Democrats, the governors, right? The Congress people, the state people who are our friends. And all you guys need to do is do a little gesture. We will throw so much media attention at you. We will put you on all of our national channels, all of our shows, because all you got to do is pay attention to us. And I think for Democrats to say we're friends with Canada, again, it's a moral high ground that you can only win from. So that's my free political strategic advice for the day. Always a pleasure to come on.
That's a really good point.
That is a good point. Nobody hates Canada, right, Jason? Nobody hates Canada. How can you hate Canada? Yeah, right? You can't do it. So, all right. Well, Jesse, thanks again for coming on. We'll send you regards to Mayor Tom. I'm sure he'll watch this clip, and next thing you know, he's going to be on, Canadian Broadcast Corporation. So, thank you. All right, Jesse Hirsh, our Canadian correspondent.
Thanks,
thank
Jesse.
you. Awesome. Good to see him. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Interesting stuff here. So, all right, I want to talk to you, Jason, about in the news, and it was kind of crazy, right? Anybody who's ever been to Puerto Vallarta, you see people at the hotels that you've probably been to, and all you see in the background is like smoke and explosions and all this crazy stuff going on right outside of a resort town in Jalisco State, Mexico, which happens to be the home of El Mencho, or used to be the home of El Mencho before he was eliminated by Mexican authorities this week. But this area is home to the cartel. Yes. And this cartel is called the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. It's also known in Spanish language acronym CJNG. Yep. So, you listed, I think, 4 or 5 gangs up here that you work to really make an impact on their ability to operate up here. I assume a lot of those were Mexican.
Yes.
Okay. So how do we go from everyone's heard of Sinaloa cartel, right? Mm-hmm. Now we hear about this CJNG, which operates out of Jalisco. How do those, at the end of the day, there's somebody down in Mexico as the kingpin. How far away is that person from street drugs on the street in Lake County?
So you got to think about, so first of all, Chicago is a hub. So it is all these cartels' mission to get their product, across the border and into the United States, and then start moving it north to their hub cities, Chicago, New York, Detroit, L.A., to get them into their target cities. And then from there, they have an infrastructure to get it out. And it will go, so it comes in bulk, it gets sent out, it gets broke down, kilos, gets broke down, sent out, and then it slowly starts matriculating down to the street, to the street corner, so to speak, right? And when you start working cases, so, I might knock you off as a low-level drug dealer. You flip, you give me your source. So you might be a less than an ounce guy. Mm-hmm. So he gives you would give me your dealer. So we would go wrap him up. He flips because he's getting his ounces. So he's probably buying, a quarter key to a half key, maybe more, breaking it down, selling it low. We wrap him up. He gives us his guy. Now we're talking about a guy who is a multi-kilo person that's being fed directly from the cartels.
So 2 guys up from the street-level dealer is usually like your kilo level.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you're drawing a straight line.
Okay.
If you're drawing a straight line, yeah.
And then where do you go from there?
So is
that still local? Is your kilo guy 2 guys up from the street level dealer? Is your kilo guy still operating most likely within the county or within 50 miles?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, because they got it. So what happens is generally, and it varies, right? This isn't gospel, but you will, the drugs come in, they get sent out, divided up. So, you might get 3 kilos. These guys might get, 3 or 4 kilos, and it kind of disperses down. So once you get to that, coming in from the, from the wholesale to the retail kind of perspective, bring in Now you can wrap up one of those guys. Now you are one step closer. So the person receiving the bulk amount of drugs, 100 kilos, for instance, that person has direct ties to somebody in the cartel, not to the main
kingpin,
guy,
right?
But yes,
some high level,
correct.
Because if you're getting 100 kilos, I mean, how do you estimate how much that street worth? Like what the dollars on the street
it gets weird, right? So
and what are we talking when you're saying kilo? What drug are we talking about?
So generally kilos, whenever you hear the word kilo, you're thinking of cocaine. It's 2.2 pounds, right?
Yep.
1 kilogram of cocaine. It has been packaged like that. They're usually, it's wrapped in tape. It's got like a little a symbol on there, so you know whose it belongs to, so you know what you're getting. And so those kind of vary. I've seen them. Like when I was a task force officer with DEA, from 2000 to 2004. We were paying between $22,000 and $26,000 a kilo.
Okay.
Now the prices have gone up. The harder it is to get over the border and get it sent up this way, the more risk, the more price.
Yeah.
So
supply is lessened.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah. So you could be paying upwards of $30K
a
kilo. So you can price it at that, or you can take each kilo and break it down what it would be on the street value. Yeah. Yeah. After it gets stepped on 5 times, and breaking it down to what, if you're buying, an 8-ball, 3.2 grams. I mean, you can break it down at however you wish, at the kilo price or at the street market price.
And so when it's coming from Mexico up to Chicago, does it come, maybe it's a yes to all these. Air, does it come by mule, meaning like a person?
Right.
Does it come by boat? I mean, you've
tunnels.
Seen, tunnels. How does it get from, Jalisco where they're actually either manufacturing or acquiring all these, kilos and kilos and tens of hundreds of kilos to Lake County, Indiana?
Sure. I mean, you said it in all ways. So if you look down like near San Diego in that part of the border, they have found a lot of drug tunnels coming into San Diego in that area, going into Arizona, coming out of Mexico. And they would just wholesale send those, through. They'll send them through mules on people's bodies. They'll get secreted. They come in vehicles, semi-trucks, boats, planes if they can. Not so much, from my experience anymore. They bring them all through. And I will tell you that since they have strengthened the border on the southern border, the northern border is wide open. And you're finding that a lot of the meth and fentanyl and cocaine is coming through Canada, especially in the Northwest.
Yeah, near Seattle, I've heard that.
And so it's creeping down through there.
So is there fentanyl? So how does, we always hear about fentanyl, right? Like, does fentanyl come through on its own, or is it mixed in with cocaine, or is it mixed in with heroin or other drugs?
So in my experience, I have not. So a lot of the street drugs that we were buying when before I retired, it all had fentanyl in it.
Just already laced in it.
Already in it. So this is, and this is street product, right? So we would find cocaine that had fentanyl in it. These fake pills would have fentanyl in it. You would think, we even found marijuana, obviously, heroin. And then we bought straight fentanyl. There are people, sadly, that want straight fentanyl.
And is it true that most fentanyl is coming from China?
Yes.
Okay, so in other words, the fentanyl itself is coming from China, but then it can go to places like Mexico where they can lace it, or somewhere along the line it gets laced. Yeah.
So what they do, so it comes. The ingredients come. They make it in the super labs. In Mexico, and that includes meth, right? And they make it, and then they're able to send it out. Years ago, meth was made in backyards. And stuff,
well, like Breaking Bad, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Not anymore. The cartels have really occupied that space. And they're able to do it faster, efficiently,
better product
or distribution. And here's the thing, and this is what I learned. I took a tour of the border at El Paso, and we had a briefing. Is traditionally law enforcement could plan, like there's like a growing and harvesting season for marijuana, heroin, cocaine, right? So you knew when you were going to get these pushes,
right?
All the synthetic stuff, they can make it any time.
Wow!
So it's a constant onslaught.
So you don't have the harvest season.
There isn't. No.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, and then are you seeing, like, when you're retired, like if you're talking to, parents or concerned people that that have addiction or whatever, right? And I'm sure obviously these are victims of what these cartels are doing, right? Because they're preying on people with addictions, preying on people that want to try drugs or whatever. Like, what is the danger drug that you saw, like, that's coming on the street or is on the street? Like, if you were counseling someone, what would you say? This is the most dangerous thing we've got on our streets.
Well, really, it's it's a weird phenomenon. So if you look back generationally, there is no room for drug experimentation today. So a young person in their late teens, in their college years, I'm
going to try this.
Yeah, I'm going to try this, right? The risk is just too great. It just really is. Wow. So you'll find it in anything that you would get. If you get the ecstasy, you don't know if it's got fentanyl in it, right? If you're a college student and you want to do Adderall because you got finals coming up and you buy those through the black market, no good.
Even Adderall.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, this is. I mean, this.
You're talking about black market stuff.
This is black market stuff. DEA has a program called One Pill Can Kill, and it really demonstrates. And it's them taking all the seizures of pills that you have, and it was marked for something. It all had fentanyl in it.
No kidding.
Yeah, and it's not like exact amount. And then obviously the amount of fentanyl it would take to do you in would be different than me. If you're a small female, I mean, it's just bad.
So, and we talk a lot, I think, with you as a sheriff's candidate about the putting the guys in jail past, right? But this part that you just told me is so cool about, I mean, I don't want to say cool because it's not cool. People are getting killed by this, but it's really interesting to me that you have the ability to also educate and hopefully help with prevention. Because, I mean, I think as the head law enforcement officer of Lake County, that's an important part too. It's not just about getting the bad guys and putting them in jail, right? I mean, you've got a duty to the community to educate as well on this.
100%. So my stance, it's compliance through education, and I would rather educate a populace or a set of people as to what's going on, and let them know the truth, and then they can make a decision as to how they're going to comply. And you look at drugs, I see it as a supply and demand issue. Obviously, the supply is squarely a law enforcement issue. That's called the war on drugs. It didn't work. You have to work the demand side. You have to educate parents. You have to educate, teens and young adults as to the risk of this. And then you also got to get people that are addicted to this off of it. You got to give them every opportunity and every tool to get off of it, because it's just a matter of time.
And we've seen it. We've seen it in our communities. Yeah. We have friends that it's impacted their families. I mean, you don't have to go very far, right?
Oh, yeah.
To know somebody that's been impacted by it.
And we need to be getting the drugs out that can reverse fentanyl overdose and poisoning. We need to get that out. That needs to be readily available to people. And
is that a realistic goal? I'm just curious, because you feel like, oh my gosh, drug abuse is everywhere, drug use is everywhere. Is that a realistic goal, or how do we get to that being a realistic goal?
Well, I mean, personally, I think you should be able to go into a store and buy it.
And these are things like Narcan,
Narcan,
right? Yeah, okay.
And yes, it's not a crutch for drug use. It is a way to keep people alive.
And I think that's an important distinction.
Yeah,
right?
It's not. So if you look, there's a ton of non-for-profits. Sounds of Sarah, ran by Patty Stovall, who lost her daughter to fentanyl poisoning. This is her mission, and she is killing it.
And Patty.
Yes, very well.
Yeah.
And and she is killing it, and her mission is carrying out putting these drugs out, making them readily available. It is not a crutch for drug use. It is keeping people alive.
Because we know that addiction is not just, addiction's tough.
Yes.
And so if you have an addict, and these are our family members, these are people in our community, people we love. You don't want to see them, you fear that they're gonna fall off, they're gonna go back. And because that's what addicts do, right? And so what you're saying is that if you're in that position, we want to help that person be able to stay alive while they're fighting this addiction.
Correct. Because they're going to, the thing about drug addiction is you progress and regress, right? And, and it's a constant struggle. I have friends. And the thing about drug addiction and drug use is it permeates everybody. It doesn't matter where you live. Doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter. It affects all of us. We all have people, across, the U.S. that are somehow impacted by addiction.
Yep, and I think that's a really cool thing. John, was I cutting you off? I'm sorry.
No, I was just thinking while you guys were talking, Kevin, you made a good point earlier. Back in the 90s and whatnot, all the things you saw in the newspaper was about gangs in the area. Now it's a lot of overdoses, drug use, and I think, Jason, just hearing you talk about your plan for this as sheriff is pretty incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really good. So before we go, by the way, thanks for coming on and filling in for Tom.
Thanks for having me.
Some would argue you did a better job than he did today, but we all love our mayor, Tom, and he's coming back on Tuesday, so I can't wait to see him and get him back in the studio. But great job today.
Thank you.
Before we go, I want to make sure people know where to go to learn more about you and your campaign for sheriff.
Well, thank you for that. So again, my name is Jason Gore. I'm running for sheriff. You can find me on all the social platforms, Jason Gore for Sheriff. You can go to my website, Jason Gore for Sheriff. Please go out, take a look, learn about me on my Facebook page and my TikTok page. I put everything out there. So speeches, things I say, appearances, it's all out there. I'm hiding nothing from the public as to what my position is on things and how I'm going to lead as the next sheriff. So please go there and visit and learn more.
And I know you've got an open campaign meeting coming up, right? You want to talk about that?
Yeah. So starting this Saturday is our volunteers meeting at my campaign headquarters at 173rd and the Boulevard here in Hammond. And they're going to be every week. So for a while they've been every other week. And now we're getting so close. We're like, 68 days from the election. It's going to be every week. We come in, give you a little state of the campaign, where I'm going to be at the next week if anybody wants to come with, and then we start about knocking on doors, phone calls, texts, and all this traditional volunteer work within that.
Awesome. So if you want to hear more about Jason, obviously go to the website, follow him on social media. But if you really want to see him in person, come to the campaign meeting.
Yes, please.
And that's 9 a.m. tomorrow.
Yes.
All right. Awesome. We good? We're going to wrap up season 17, episode 17. I think we're on 17. We are 17. So I want to thank Jason for coming in. I want to thank John Cantrell for filling in for the locomotive. He'll be back on Tuesday. John, I hope you feel better.
Thanks. I'm going to go stick my head in the freezer.
or like maybe a sauna or a steam bath or something. Jill, thanks as always. Sure. Even though you screwed up the ads, we'll forgive you today.
Gosh. He's laying it on thick.
But thanks, everybody. Really good episode. Thanks, Jason, for coming on.
Come back, Mayor.
And we'll be back on Tuesdays. Take care, everybody. Have a
Thank
good
you.
weekend.
Bye-bye, everybody.
All right.